Well, now let's turn to Michigan, where voter turnout is expected to be high today. Residents are casting their vote for who they want to represent each party in the November midterms. Seats in the House and the Senate are up for grabs, along with the hotly contested gubernatorial race. Political reporter Kathy Gray from the Detroit Free Press joins me now. Kathy, thank you again for joining us. I want to start off with the gubernatorial races. We know incumbent Governor Rick Snyder can't run for re-election because of term limits. So who's running to replace him? And is there a clear favorite at this point?
Well, there's really highly contested primaries on both the Republican and Democratic side. The front runner on the Republican side is Attorney General Bill Schuette, and the front runner on the Democratic side is Gretchen Whitmer. She's the former Senate Majority Leader. We also have on the Democratic side Abdul El-Sayed. He was the former Health Department Director for the city of Detroit, and he's the one who's gotten the most energy in the recent weeks. And a retired businessman named Sri Tanadar, who has pumped in nearly $12 million into his race.
Wow.
On the Republican side, we've got Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley, State Senator Patrick Colbeck, and a physician named Dr. Jim Hines.
I'm curious about Abdel El-Sayed. You know, we know that he's been getting a lot of momentum. He's had visits from Bernie Sanders, from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. What's his message? How is it being received in Michigan?
Well, he is really appealing to the liberal progressives in the party, in the Democratic Party. He's talking about Medicare for all. He's talking about free college tuition. He's talking about free water for people. So he's really, really appealing to the progressives in the state. And Bernie Sanders was in for him on Sunday. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was here last weekend. So there certainly is a lot of energy on the campaign. He's been in third place in the polls for most of the election cycles, so we'll see if these visits and this energy is enough to put him over the top.
And then there's also three-term U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow, not facing any primary challengers on the Democratic side, but she will in November run up against Republican John James and also Sandy Prenzler. Can you tell us a little bit more about her competition? What are the chances of her winning a fourth term?
I think that they're pretty good. She's been a pretty popular senator in Michigan for a long time. And the two people who are running to try to beat her are businessmen who aren't really well known within the state of Michigan. Sandy Prenzler had been ahead. He's also pumping a lot of his own money into the race. John James, though, got the endorsement of President Trump last week, and that really gave him a boost. So there's a really good possibility that John James, a retired military man and businessman, he's also an African-American Republican, will get the nod and be the one to go up against Debbie Stabenow.
Kathy, you know that in the 2016 presidential election, President Trump won the state of Michigan by a slim majority. Does he still have the support of voters in Michigan at this point?
Well, the polls that have been out there lately show him with a approval rating of about 36%. So it's not great. It's not really high. And we'll see how his endorsement. He's endorsed Attorney General Bill Schuette for governor and John James for Senate. And we'll see how those two candidates either embrace him full-throatedly, or if they try to pivot a little bit in the general election. In the primary, both Schuette and John James have really been touting the endorsement of President Trump.
You know, Michigan is clearly a swing state, the Rust Belt area that Democrats would love to gain control of. What are the odds of that actually happening?
You know, I think that the Democrats are going to pick up seats in the state house. I think that they're probably going to pick up some seats in the U.S. House. I don't think that they're not going to gain control of the state Senate. That's just too out of reach for them at this point. But there are a lot of issues on the November ballot that is going to boost turnout. Legalization of marijuana, a redistricting issue that's been really hot here in Michigan. So turnout could be really high in November, and that always seems to benefit the Democrats.
Kathy Gray, grateful you can join us. Kathy, thank you for your time.
Sure, thank you.